The MG ZS has found success in Australia, offering a lower cost small SUV alternative. But this new version, the ZST, aims to change all that by offering more tech and safety at a correspondingly higher price. The question is, does the ZS formula still work when the playing field on price is more even? Before we find out, remember to check out the full written review over on carsguide.com.au and hit those like, subscribe and bell notification icons on YouTube to stay up to date with all of our latest content.
The first thing you'll need to know is that the arrival of the ZST does not remove the existing ZS from dealers. That car will continue at an even lower price point alongside the new ZST range for at least a year in a weird split variant range. Despite an all-new design which debuts a new styling language for the brand in Australia, the ZST also shares most of its underpinnings with the existing ZS range. There are some big changes under the skin which we'll get to a bit later. With a starting price of just under 30 grand in Australia, the ZST will compete directly with other small SUVs like the Mitsubishi ASX, Hyundai Kona and Honda HR-V. Tough company. Standard fitment, even on the base Excite grade, includes LED light clusters, 17-inch alloy wheels, synthetic leather interior trims throughout, a large 10.1-inch multimedia touchscreen with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and built-in nav, 5 USB ports, and the brand's new suite of active safety items it dubs MG Pilot. More on that later. One of the ZST's headline features is its new engine. It has a 1.3-litre 3-cylinder turbo distinct from the rest of the ZS range with higher power outputs. It also gets rid of the 4-speed automatic, changing it out for a 6-speed torque converter. The ZST remains front-wheel drive only.
So straight away you'll notice a lot of things behind the wheel. Firstly, this car is a lot more refined than what came before it. It's much quieter in here, and that's really nice to see, as well as these soft touch materials which have genuinely improved throughout the cabin. And this car has really improved across the board. This new engine and transmission are an excellent combination, not just for MG, but they're now really competitive for this segment. I really like the amount of power on offer, I really like how responsive this engine is, and I also really like this transmission. It's a 6-speed torque converter auto, which is much better than the CVT alternatives, and much better even than the HS's dual clutch. Now that having been said, while the engine and transmission is much better, and generally the refinement in here is much better, there are still some things that I don't like about it. Top of my list is the steering. There are 3 steering modes and all of them are just too vague. I don't get a really good handle on the front wheels at all. And that permeates to the chassis as well. While this car is firmer than the previous ZS, you can still feel how high the center of gravity is, and the chassis feel doesn't really inspire confidence in the corners. Of course, you are spoilt in this segment now with cars like the Toyota CHR with its very good TNGA underpinnings, and cars like the Hyundai Kona and Kia Seltos that are almost firm to a fault. That having been said, if you compare this car in terms of its handling feel to, say, something like a Mitsubishi ASX, it is absolutely competitive in this segment.
Fuel use isn't amazing even on the claim, and you'll need to fill the ZST with mid-grade 95 RON unleaded, as the high sulfur content in our base 91 is a no-go.
SAIC has also done some work on the safety systems in this car. So it's now up to a new version of its MG Pilot software, and it has also improved across the board. We found that software suite in the larger HS was really swervy and a bit militant when it came to its lane keep assist and adaptive cruise systems, but in this car it's much more under control.
And for safety, the ZST now features a fully fleshed out active suite, which includes auto emergency braking, lane departure warning, traffic jam assist, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert, and adaptive high beams. While that seems to put it at the fore of the segment in terms of active safety items, it's worth noting that it will carry its 4-star ANCAP safety rating from the previous ZS. The brand said it hopes the ZS range will be reassessed at some point.
So how's the ride in here? Well, as we've already mentioned, it's not a handling king, so the ride is not firm by any means. A clear choice has been made here to give this car more of a comfort tune, and it does absolutely feel like that. It's floaty and comfortable, and I think passengers and families will actually quite like it. There's a few other small things I notice about the driving position. This base car doesn't have telescopic steering adjust, which is a little frustrating. I don't find the seat comfort particularly good for this segment or at all. You can definitely notice that this fake leather material isn't as breathable as even cloth alternatives. The multimedia screen, that's one of the big wow factors in here. It looks the same as it did in the HS, but clearly the processor behind it is much faster, because I have no problems now adjusting through it, finding the screen I need. There's no lag between screens, and Apple CarPlay seems to be seamless now, given that we have only driven it for just over an hour. Some other little things that have improved when it comes to that media system too is the climate controls are no longer only operable through the screen like they were in the HS. MG has actually added a few little toggles for controlling things like fan speed and temperature, and that's very welcome.
As always, MG offers a 7-year and unlimited kilometre warranty promise too, following in the very successful steps of Korean groundbreaker Kia.
So it's far from perfect, but it's definitely competitive, and that's really great to see if MG is going to stick around for the long haul. It needs to do more than tick a few boxes. It needs to be good to drive as well, and this car is a big step in that direction. The ZST is a much more well-rounded product than what came before it. It's especially nice to see the full safety suite and multimedia offering on even the base car, which by the way is our pick of the range. What remains to be seen is whether MG's newfound customer base will be willing to follow it into the realm of mainstream pricing.